So I'm an income investor now. I successfully killed my prior identity of being a guy who works at Bitcoin startups. And dude, it feels great. It feels great. It it was good. It was a good run. It was a good run. And this is it's funny. It's funny verbalizing that. It's funny verbalizing that and owning that. But my identity had been in a like a I'd been working on de-identifying as a Bitcoiner, honestly, for a lot of years. I shouldn't say a lot of years, probably like 18 months. There's probably like a focused effort of about 18 months where I could feel the narratives of the insider Bitcoin community just not really having a lot of logic to them. And here's an example, some concrete examples, okay? Like, I'm passionate about seeing Bitcoin replace fiat money. There's a big argument, there's a good logical argument to be had that Ethereum was working as an online currency with higher volumes of like purchasing things than Bitcoin was. And that set in of like because Bitcoiners like to say how, NFTs are dumb or whatever. NFTs, digital items, collectibles are all dumb. But the volume of NFTs being bought and sold with Ethereum, I kind of just ignored that for a long time. I ignored that, and the people that I listened to, the podcast and everything, the people that I hung out with online, just basically ignored that. While at the same time, cheerleading, Bitcoin circulating for tacos in El Salvador, which that's good. That's good that's cool. That's super cool and interesting. Extremely cool and interesting. And I spent a lot of years onboarding local restaurants here in Southern California to taking Bitcoin. I did it even last year. Helped a local brewery start doing it, which is cool. I'm passionate about that. The fact that Steak and Shake now takes it. Sheetz convenience stores up in the Northeast takes Bitcoin as payment now. That's cool. But that's just an example of when you have your head in the sand and you're not really looking at all of the information that's out there, it skews the way that you see the world changing. So that was an example of it. And then another example is when it comes to like Bitcoin layers or Bitcoin layer 2s, and alternate L1s. Guys, like programmable smart contracts on Ethereum with wrapped Bitcoin have been around for a long time, actually. Like, that's been around for a lot of years. I wish I had spent more time like diving into how that worked, rather than being like frustrated about that. And so there's a big Bitcoin influencer that just one time we're having this discussion back and forth on Twitter, and he was like, wrapped Bitcoin is not demand for Bitcoin. And I was just like, what? Wait, what? Like, we can say the tokenomics of Ethereum are bad. You can say you don't like the smart contracts. You can say that Solidity is bad programming language. Like, there's so much other stuff to say. Or you'd be like, oh, well, wrapped Bitcoin deals with custodian. Like, there's so much other stuff you could say than to say, oh, wrapped Bitcoin is not Bitcoin demand. Like, it literally is Bitcoin sitting at an address that someone owns. It's the same thing as Bitcoin sitting on my hardware wallet, Bitcoin sitting in a wrapped Bitcoin wallet. It's the same thing. So just two examples of like where a lot of the classic talking points of the old days really started to fall away, and I really started to try to like kind of carve a new mental path for that. And I'm not the only one that has done this. A lot of people have done this. So that just is like, I've worked on the whole like changing my identity and like mixing that up multiple times in my life. And right now, this is another one of those like curves of just like, why am I investing? What is the point? What is the point of why I'm investing? What is the point of buying Bitcoin? For a long time, the point of buying Bitcoin, for myself, was I was very philosophically and like politically driven to be like, I want to see Bitcoin replace fiat money. I also believe it's a good personal investment for myself, but I really, really, really am motivated by this like political, philosophical part. That has largely been accomplished. It's not over. Like, Bitcoin is not the world reserve currency yet, but Bitcoin is way more commonly accepted and is like being talked about in the most high-powered places of the world. So I would say like we did it, guys. Like, we did it. Congratulations, everyone on Twitter from the old days. Like, we did it. Now, I'm just like, where are we at now? Where are we at now? Okay. And then this is why I worked on the old startup that I worked on, because it was like where I was trying to found my own Bitcoin checking account company, because I think that like savings, people have lots of ways to save Bitcoin. Bitcoin in retirement accounts, people have lots of ways to get Bitcoin in retirement accounts. But this concept of Bitcoin as your daily driver money that you can hold for short term also, I was tackling that from a lot of different angles. Both of the like convenience angle of having an account and routing number, like the convenience side of having an account and routing number as close to a Bitcoin balance as possible is like one thing. And then also the mathematical side of like, how do you deal with that? And eventually someday I'll make a video about like when you get paid every other week, but your bills are due every 30 days, you're basically floating up and down on the exchange rate in those pay bands, as long as you're living below your means. If you're living below your means and you have a set amount of bills that go out every 30 days and you have a set amount of money from a W-2 job that comes in every other week, you can live on Bitcoin. Like, that is possible. It's possible to hold all of your money in Bitcoin. That mathematically can make sense, and functionally it can make sense because of the way it floats up and down on the 2-week bands. And because of, and then again, if you really want to get in the weeds, like there's also tax loss harvesting. Like you have up to $3,000 a year of tax loss harvesting. So when you do that correctly, it balances out to the upside. But that's not super important anymore. That ship has kind of sailed. If you agree with that, sweet. If you don't, all good, no worries. If you just view Bitcoin as a long-term investment, all good, no worries. The new thing now is income. Like the kind of like classic, I'm coming full circle all the way back to just the like dividend fund investing, dividend snowball, replacing income with investments. This is the original thing that drew me to real estate. Like, I like the idea of rental properties. I like the idea of a barbell where I have high powered Bitcoin growth, which is absorbing all the capital in the world. And then I have super steady rental properties that accrue equity, but also generate cash flow. And that cash flow can be increased every year, every 2 years as rents increase, because everything priced in dollars is going up. The prices of homes, the prices of rent, the prices of stocks, the prices of eggs, everything is going up measured in dollars. All of you are going to be millionaires. All of us are millionaires. It's all going up measured in dollars. So that's the barbell portfolio. The new middle of that barbell now is Bitcoin covered calls. Let's go over how covered calls work. If I own one share of the ETF and it's trading at $100, I can sell you the right to buy the share of the ETF from me for $110, okay, on a certain date. And then you pay me $1 today. So now I have one share of the Bitcoin ETF and I have $1 that you paid me. You have the right to buy the share of the ETF from me at $110 on the certain date. Say the certain date happens and the price is below the price that you had to buy it at, then you would not buy it because it's not economically makes sense for you to buy it. So I would keep my share and I keep my original dollar. And so I made money. I made income of $1 while Bitcoin traded flat to down. Okay. Now the alternate scenario, say Bitcoin rips past the price, the $110 that we decided on. You give me $110. I give you the share of the ETF. So now I have the $1 that you originally paid me and I have the $110 that you just paid me. But say the price of the share went to $120. So I lost out on $10 of gains because I took the $1 early and I received $110. So now I'm sitting on $111 when I could have had $120. So I sold away the upside. I sold away a portion of the upside for income today. And then what happens is, so that's how a covered call works. So now what's gaining more and more steam is the concept of covered call ETF income funds that do this all automatically for you all the time. So that same thing that's happening that's happening all the time. Okay? And what would happen is the $110, if the share got called away and you received the $110, they would just buy back into the ETF and move on to the next month. Two things about this. They are selling, most of the time what's happening is that they are selling out of the money calls. So if the price of the share is $100 today, they're selling for $120, $150. They're selling like way out of the money or decently out of the money. So you have to have price appreciation to get it called away. They're not selling it for like $1 or $2 away. They're selling out of the money. Second thing is they don't sell covered calls on the whole portfolio. So you have the whole pile of money. They don't sell covered calls on the entire portfolio. They only sell it on a section of the portfolio. So the other section of the portfolio still has the ability to ride the price all the way up to that new high if it does hit that new high, okay? So you're making money as price stays flat or goes down. You're making money in all scenarios as far as income today, but you are giving up some upside for the guarantee of income today. This matches where I'm at. This fully matches where I'm at in my life because I already have a lot of exposure to full-on Bitcoin to the upside and to the downside. And I already have these rental properties that are accruing equity to them, but are very break even and don't pay me today. Boom. Right in the middle, covered call Bitcoin ETFs will pay me money today, a sizable enough money to start to replace current income today and make my life easier today, while also still having a portion of it allocated to Bitcoin to the upside. I believe Bitcoin is the apex asset right now. I believe all capital in the world is like reorienting around that reality. And so that spectrum of assets is really, really, really interesting to me. And it's the one that I've studied the most and understand the most amount. And the double kicker now, because I still need this little bit of like philosophical, like political, like I still need that little bit of activism side in me. And the great part about this, the excellent kicker part about this is I believe this will be the thing that brings FIRE investors and dividend investors and retirees into Bitcoin. I believe the popularity of these products is what's going to unlock a whole new group of people that have seen Bitcoin as too speculative and too random. And now it's here in a wrapper that they understand. And I have a ton of respect for people that have like been on this trend for a long time, and I'm now happy to be a part of it. If you made it all the way to the end, I think you would really enjoy being a channel member. It's a few bucks a month and you can cancel anytime. You can get members only live streams, join our private Discord chat for members of this channel. It's called the Bitcoin Personal Finance Think Tank. And so really trying to bring together people that are evolving the way that they incorporate Bitcoin into their personal finances. We have growth people, we have business owners, we've got real estate people, we've got people that go hard on dividend funds. And so it's a really good mix. Click join right next to the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.